everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liana, now with 100% more pink in my hair, and I just wanted to sit down and do some makeup today. It's been a little while. Haven't been feeling the best the last 5 weeks or so, and just really haven't been feeling like doing a whole lot of filming, which is totally fine. But I have to go out today anyway, and I wanted to put some makeup on, and I figured if I want to put makeup on, I might as well put it on camera. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I don't have anything on right now except for my skincare. And I'm just going to start with some concealer. So those of you that follow me on my Instagram probably already know what's been happening for the last month. I had a UTI in August, at the start of August. And so I went into the after hours clinic at my doctor's office the following week. Since it was late in the week, I waited until the following week. And I got there and I found out that they don't do the after hours clinic anymore, which would have been great to know that, because I arrived there and they were just like, nope, we don't do that. But my doctor's office doesn't have the best communication in terms of the telephone. You try and call them, it doesn't work. And they ask you not to leave a message, which is great. So how do you get a hold of them? So I arrived there and they were just like, yeah, you can't stay for after hours clinic. And I was like, well, is there a doctor here? And they're like, yeah. So I asked if I could see the doctor, and that was okay, which is great. But normally what you have to do now is wait for a phone call. And a phone call could come pretty late in the evening nowadays, in which case you're basically waiting until the next day for, I don't know, a treatment or a prescription, whatever. So I was able to see the doctor. I got a prescription. The prescription for the antibiotics I got did not work. So I ended up back at my doctor's office probably 10 to 12 days later. And I got put on a second antibiotic, and this one was supposed to be stronger, and I was supposed to be on it longer. And it was a combination antibiotic, so I had 2 different drugs in it, one of which was amoxicillin. I've been on amoxicillin before, so I figured no big deal. Second one was clavulin, or clavulanic acid. I've not been on that before. I took my first dose in the evening, and one of my fingers started hurting and was kind of swollen, and I figured, okay, that's no big deal. I have chronic pain. That's probably not that out of the ordinary. Although it's not usual for my knuckles to swell and feel that sore. But I didn't think anything of it. And then the next morning, I took a second dose. And my mom started noticing hives on me. I shouldn't say that. I first noticed there was a hive on my hip, and it was really big, and I thought, okay, is this a hive or is it a bite? I was outside for maybe 15 minutes the day before in the afternoon. I can't stay outside in the sun very long because it's just really hard for me. So I thought, okay, it could be a tiny bite or a large bite, but then other things started popping up on my body, and they were definitely hives. And my ears started to swell. So there was definitely something wrong, and I had to call back to the doctor's office, which again, very difficult. I was able to get through, and they're like, we're gonna book you in for a phone appointment in the evening. It won't be with your regular doctor. That's no big deal. I just need to talk to somebody. I'm obviously having an allergic reaction. I get a phone call at around 6 in the evening, and I tell the doctor, I can't take this medication. Something's happening here. And he's like, oh, just take Benadryl. Benadryl should help you feel better. No, I've been taking Benadryl. That's not working. So he suggested prednisone, since the Benadryl isn't working, prednisone often helps with more severe allergic reactions in the body. I've been on prednisone before, about 3 years ago. I was taking it fairly consistently for several months for joint issues. So I already knew what that was like, and I knew I wouldn't be on it for a very long time, so he prescribed 3 days worth at 50 milligrams, which is actually a higher dose than I was on previously. But then my hands started to swell and my feet started to swell and I couldn't walk on my feet. It hurt a lot. And so then I knew I had to go to the hospital. And you know, it's never a fun decision to have to make to go to an emergency room, and especially during a pandemic, even though in my city infection rates are fairly low with COVID, but it's still one of those things where I if I didn't have to, I wouldn't have gone, but I definitely had to. And we heard that one of the ERs outside the city had a much lower wait time. So my dad drove me, it was about 25-30 minutes to get there. And I was actually in and out within an hour. So that was really cool. And they told me, yeah, you're having a severe allergic reaction. And luckily, I didn't ever feel my tongue swell. And I didn't ever have trouble breathing. I did at one point feel like there were hives in my throat on the left side. But I never had the difficulty breathing, which is really good. But they gave me dexamethasone while I was in the hospital, and then I had the prednisone prescription for at home. Funny story about the prednisone prescription. The doctor was supposed to fax it to my pharmacy that night. So my dad goes to the pharmacy, and the person there is not our regular pharmacist. Starts looking for the prescription and says, we don't have it. And that was about an hour and a half after I had spoken to the doctor. So then they're like, we can give you Benadryl. That's not going to work. I'd already been taking Benadryl. Or hydrocortisone cream for the itching. So my dad was quite insistent because I was having a lot of trouble. Can't you just advance one tablet until the next day? Which should have been easily done. And we did speak with the pharmacists the following day, and they agreed that could have been very easily done. They didn't do it. And the prescription was actually there. Whether or not it was there at the time my dad went, I don't know, but the prescription was filled before the end of the night, which means I should have had the prednisone that night, and I didn't. They should have called after my dad left. They didn't. And I almost feel like it was kind of out of spite, to be honest. Because apparently this guy just really didn't like my dad. So I ended up not getting the prescription until the next day, which ended up being okay because I did go to the hospital, and I would have had to anyway, whether I'd gotten the prescription or not, because obviously the reaction was getting worse and worse. But it's just kind of weird that they didn't give the prescription to my dad. So it was like a really messed up 24 hours. And it took a full week for my allergic reaction to disappear. And what happened was, after the swelling of the ears, the hands, the feet went away, I started getting swelling of my eyelids and my lips. That went away. And when the hives slowly started going away, I was left with bruises where the hives were. So very likely my blood vessels were broken in certain areas. There is a certain type of hives that can cause like a vasculitis, and that's very likely what that was there. I've never had hives like that before, so it's definitely the worst allergic reaction I've ever had. And they did mark it down as the clavulin and not the amoxicillin, since I've been on the amoxicillin before. So they gave me a third antibiotic while I was in the ER, which I didn't start right away because I wanted the allergic reaction to go away so that I could kind of have some peace of mind and be like, okay, well, if another allergic reaction happens, I want to be able to visibly see it. I want to be able to tell that that's what's happening. And like, at that point, I wouldn't have been able to tell. I could still see way too much of the previous allergic reactions. And plus, I was just scared, to be honest. Because it's kind of like, okay, this has happened to me once. Is it going to happen again? Especially since there was apparently a 10% crossover reaction between the allergic reaction, the medication I was on before and the medication I was just given. So just for fun, I am going to try putting some kind of like magenta eyeshadow in my eyebrows and see if that kind of shows up a bit and match my hair. So yeah, I waited a week to go on the third antibiotic, and it did not cause an allergic reaction. Thank goodness. So at that point, after I finished the third antibiotic, I was still not feeling well. I was still having like a lot of pain, especially pelvic pain and low back pain. And pain when I actually went to the bathroom. So I had to try and get in touch with my doctor again. And try and check on the results of my previous tests. And apparently those were too long ago, so she wanted a new one. I had to drop off at the lab a new sample. Okay, now I've lost my train of thought. I just had to go through my COVID screening questions for physiotherapy. So, yeah, so I had to drop off another sample, which is my third one, at a laboratory and pray and hope that my requisition got faxed over to the location I was going to. It did. Then I had to wait for my doctor to call me. And that was last week. When I didn't hear anything, I called my doctor's office 7 times and figured, okay, well, I'm still in a lot of pain. I haven't heard anything. I'm going to go to urgent care. So I went to urgent care, and again, I was in and out within an hour, which is really cool. I think a lot of people are just not going to the hospital right now because of COVID, so. And they tested me again for infection. They said they didn't see any signs, and they also were able to track down my past results on the computer, which they gave me printout of all of those, and basically just said I should look into getting an ultrasound of my kidneys and my bladder, which I already have a requisition for from my doctor, because my doctor said if I wasn't feeling better after all these antibiotics, I should get an ultrasound. So I already had that, and I was able to book that. So I go in on the 29th for that. But basically, I'm in a lot of pain, and I don't know why, and it's probably, unfortunately, just related to my chronic pain. But I hope it doesn't last, because having really bad pelvic pain on a daily basis is not fun. Whenever I get a new type of pain, it's always kind of like, okay, let's look for a possible reason why, and then when they can't find a reason why, it's just like, yeah, that's just your body being your body. Which is never really a fun thing to hear. It's like, yeah, you're in pain because your body is this way, and it's like, yeah, but it shouldn't be. So that kind of sucks. I have kind of pink eyebrows now. Obviously, can't really get them completely pink without without bleaching and dyeing them, which I'm not going to do. But you can get a little bit of a pink feeling there, and that's cool. I just thought it would be fun to match my hair a little bit. And honestly, the whole reason why I dyed my hair in the first place is because I just wanted to be able to have something I could look at every day and kind of like put a smile on my face, and I love bright colors. So why not dye my hair a bright color? And I've never gone full pink before. I've had pink streaks in my hair before, and I really enjoyed pink streaks. I have had full purple before, and that was really cool, but full pink I've never done. Full red, again, yes. I've had sort of an orange with pink at the front a long time ago, but never full-on hot pink. I really like the way it looks, so I hope it lasts a long time. Unfortunately, with brown hair, my roots are going to come in, so I'm going to have to decide if I want to bleach and dye my roots again, or what I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to do my eyes now, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit.
I am the clown who didn't realize the camera was on an anterior tilt, so unfortunately part of my awesome face is cut off. Apologies.
And yes, I'm going to go for a pinky eye look today. If you're going to go pink, you might as well go full pink. Yeah, so the last month has just been a huge energy drain. And so I've just been trying to find ways to keep the extra pain down as best I can, because it's really been taking a lot of energy away from me, and I don't have a lot of that to begin with. So some of the things I've been doing lately, I have been watching 3% on Netflix, which I'm on season 3 now. There's only 4 seasons, I think, and I don't know if there's more seasons after that, but I've really been enjoying this show. I feel like it has a really good commentary on classism in society. It's a Brazilian show. I've been watching it with the subtitles on. I don't know if you can watch it with an English voice cast or not, if that's easier for some people. I imagine so. Most of the Netflix shows give you the option for that. And basically what the show is about, to me, it's got a little bit of a similarity to Snowpiercer, in the sense that, like, Snowpiercer maybe like mixed a little bit with the Hunger Games. There's kind of like the haves and the have-nots. There's society's basically split into 2 classes: the lower class in the inland, and then the upper class in the offshore. And every year they have a selection called the process, where if you're 20 years old, you can go and apply to become part of the 3% who will go to the offshore, which is like a really prestigious island, and you get to live there for the rest of your life. But the testing process is really rigorous. It's pretty messed up. It's not necessarily violent. It can become violent depending on the people around you. But it's more a test of your abilities, particularly mental abilities. Some of them are teamwork based, some of them are individually based. And they basically just want to find out if you're worthy of becoming the 3%. But there's also a counter project to the process called the cause. They want to make the process disappear because they don't believe that it's fair to be separating society based on merit. So it's kind of a question of who you think is right, who you think is wrong. Is the process right? Is it right to split up people based on their idea of merit? What is merit? It just raises a lot of different questions. And also there's like kind of a big reveal when people get selected for the offshore, what they have to give up in order to go out there, which is really, really messed up. And I won't say it because some of you might want to watch it. My favorite character on the show is Fernando. Now, Fernando is a wheelchair user. And I thought that they did a really good job of writing his character on the show in such a way that at first they present him and ask him, like, what's your reason for going through the process? And at first he pretends like it's because he wants to walk again, but actually that's not true. That's what society and his family want from him, but he actually doesn't even care. He doesn't mind being in the wheelchair. The wheelchair is there to help him, and that doesn't bother him at all. It bothers other people. So that's what he says to get through. And so I thought that that was kind of a cool idea of subverting an ableist trope there, being like, yeah, that here's the disabled guy just hoping to get better and be like everybody else, even though there's actually nothing wrong with him. Instead, he's fully like admitting like there's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with everyone around me for not accepting me the way that I am. I don't have any problems. It's you guys. So that was really cool. And the whole way through, they kind of have some really great commentary on how ableism is the problem, not disability is not the problem. The only thing is that the actor himself is not a wheelchair user, so I think that that's one thing that they definitely could have done better. And that's unfortunately pretty common in a lot of shows and movies, is there will be a disabled character and the actor is not actually disabled. And there are a lot of disabled actors out there, they just haven't been given the chance. So that's one thing that casting agents need to do better. And then I've also been playing Ghost of Tsushima, which isn't usually my type of video game. I'm more into, if I'm going to be playing a game where I have to kill people, I know I'm so murderous, I have to use guns, not swords. As I said to my brother, shooty shooty, not slashy slashy. But I've really, really been enjoying Ghost of Tsushima. It's got a really cool story. It is an open world game. Those games, when they're very big, you can get a little distracted. But the distractions are also very entertaining. Like going and finding the fox dens, and then you get to pet the fox after he shows you to the shrine. They're so cute. And really you get to find out a lot about Japanese culture as well with the game, which is nice. I was just watching an interview with Daisuke Tsuji yesterday, and he was talking a lot about how he went to the island of Tsushima and got to see kind of what it looks like. And there are currently castles there. They don't look quite the same as in the game because the game takes place a long time ago, but you can kind of still see similar structures there now to what they look like in the game, and you can see the pampas grass there, and it's just apparently very, very beautiful. And he expected that the game would actually look more beautiful than what it looks like in real life, but he's like, no, it's beautiful. So I definitely would like to do some research into the actual history of Tsushima. I know they do tell you about it through the game, but you never know how 100% accurate a game is as opposed to real life. So I always kind of take that with a grain of salt, because they do tend to kind of Hollywoodize things in games and movies just to make them sound not cooler, but just more approachable for an audience, I think. But even if it gets people interested in the real history, that's always great too. Okay, so maybe I did more of a red eye look than a pink eye look, but it doesn't matter. I think I'm actually going to add a little bit of black on the outer corner to find a black eyeshadow. I have two. I have two and I use them oh so much. No, I don't. And one idea I had for videos a little while ago and kind of got sidelined and just haven't been up to filming them. The entire Studio Ghibli collection is up on Netflix, at least it is here in Canada. So I had the idea to do a review chronologically for the movies, and then at the end of each video also do an eyeshadow slash full face makeup look inspired by the poster for the film. So that is definitely something I'm going to get around to at some point when I am up to it. I'm putting this sort of peachy pink duochrome on the inner corner. And then I will just finish with some mascara. So another cool thing is I hired, I have two moderators on my YouTube channel now, both very good friends of mine that I met through Instagram. And so they can just help me with comments and stuff, and if I ever do like live videos, which I'm not really a big fan of doing live videos, but if I ever do that, then they can moderate whatever comments come through. I figured it was a good idea since I actually do get a fair amount of comments, especially on certain videos over others, i.e. videos that talk about white supremacy and that piss off white supremacists. So they're able to look at all comments that come in and delete them as necessary. Apparently, I made a video 3 months ago that really pissed off the white supremacists. I can't imagine why. And yet, I did. So, it's there, and it's been receiving a lot of comments that they get held for approval. And I basically don't look at them anymore.
So I thought I would hold a mirror up for all the assholes out there. This is a small example of what you look like. Remember that racialized people are dealing with this and more day in and day out for raising their voice. Content warning for gendered and misogynistic language, violent language, rape threats, death threats, racial slurs, ableism, and anti-Jewish sentiment.
It was getting to the point where I was getting death threats, and it was just like, yeah, you can just sit in a folder and stay there. There's really no room for that here. Most of them were also just blatant racist harassment towards my friends and followers. And again, there's no room for that here. And the thing is, fellow white people get really upset when you let them know that they aren't automatically owed a voice or a platform. But my free speech, no, you aren't owed anything. That pisses a lot of people off because they think that they're automatically owed something, particularly a platform for hate. And you're not. Maybe you are in a lot of the other spaces you go to, but you're not here. I don't allow any of that here. I don't center you. I center people whose voices are pushed to the bottom by people like us, white people. It is an immense privilege to automatically assume that one's voice is more important than anyone else's. But that's also the thing about white supremacy, is white supremacy wants to maintain power. How do you maintain power? Well, you kind of need a platform. When you're denied a platform, what do? You get angry. Sometimes I don't even know why I put blush on anymore when I know that I'm going to be putting a mask on. Most of it's going to be covered. But I just feel like I'm going to look weird if I have a whole bunch of eye makeup on and then no blush. So I put on blush anyway. And I'm also going to put on lipstick, even though I'm going to have to take it off. I kid you not, most of my lipsticks have been getting dust on the caps because I don't wear lipstick anymore, really. There's just no point these days. Let's see. I got this mini lipstick. Last time I made a Sephora order, I got one of those 500 point sets, and it was a Bareminerals set, and I've never tried Bareminerals, so I was like, why not? There we go. I put on a full face of makeup, even did my nails the other day, which it's been like 3-4 months since I've done my nails. And they kind of look like little galaxies, so that's kind of cool. Yes, let me know what you guys have been up to. I hope you're all staying really safe and well, as always. This year has just been, I know, it sucks. It sucks. And hopefully next year won't be quite as suckish. So I hope that you're doing whatever you need to take care of your mental health and your physical health, and take care of those around you, and those around you are taking care of you. And of course, you can find me at all the different places down below on social media if you'd like to. If you want to follow me here, you can click the little subscribe button. If you don't want to, that's okay. And I'm going to take care of myself as well, so that means I'm going to see you whenever I want to. So I'll see you guys whenever. Take care. Have fun. See ya.